Welcome to... Oh, I can't hear myself yet. Welcome to another episode of SUB25 SITDOWN. I'm your host, Brandon E. Brooks. I'm an independent filmmaker, independent screenwriter, actor, stunt person, and as you see right now, I dabble in podcasting. And this is a new venture between myself and the host, Tim Melican. Tonight, we have an amazing guest, one that I'm known for, probably close to 2 decades. And we're really excited to finally have this conversation. So just like on some of my previous endeavors, I have a tribute video for this guest. And Mr. Melican, can you please play our video for tonight's guest? Welcome to SUB25 SITDOWN, Tina Krause.
Hello, how are you?
Walk down memory lane.
Know. How did you find all these images? I'm like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, deep dive into the interwebs. So how are you today?
Oh, very good. How about you guys?
Awesome. It's great to finally have you on here. So what I always start, like every podcast thing, because it's interesting to me, is I say I start at the start. So you were born in Queens. So tell me what it was like growing up in New York, in that area.
Wow, it's so long ago.
No,
it was I mean, it was Queens. It's fun. I mean, I don't live far now. I actually work in Queens now, so that's ironic. Oh. I moved to Jersey after a while. That was really different. Coming from Queens to Jersey, that was a very big switch. I wasn't ready for that. No, you know, people say like, oh, it's hard, you know, in New York and everything. It's not that it's hard. It's very straightforward in New York. You know, you
No.
mind your P's and Q's. Then when you move into a small town, you find out how weird that can be. I didn't have very many friends in this small town, I'll tell you that. I had a big mouth. I had a big mouth. I got in trouble a lot. What do you want me to say? I didn't
Oh,
take shit from
so
people.
young Tina was a troublemaker. Go figure.
God. I got kicked out of my fucking high school. My first year of high school, I got
All
kicked.
right, so that's a story that we need to explore. Like, let's elaborate a little bit more on that story there, if you will.
Okay. My parents, I feel bad for them. All right. So what happened was, but I didn't get left back. So, because it was at the end of the year. So
Okay.
thank God for that. And I think my dad was friend, or my mom, somebody was friends with the fucking principal. I don't know. No, he lived down the block from us. So I think I got lucky on that accord. But what happened was it was the end of the year and it was like that freshman Friday bullshit, which
Mhm.
I don't, you know, I don't know anything about that. You wouldn't do that shit in New York. You get your ass kicked for doing some stupid shit like that. What the hell is this freshman Friday crap? Right? So like, you know, that you're supposed to beat up the freshmen. So I was like, oh bitch, you touch me, I'll fuck you up, man. Right? So apparently I had a big mouth and I didn't like what there was a senior that hated me for some fucking reason and probably because I had a big mouth. And I don't know. She had it in for me, and I had a good friend who was what was it, a junior? Okay, so in the high school there were different lockers. So the freshmen's got the shitty lockers on the first floor, which were real skinny. You could barely fit anything in it. And as you became a senior or a junior, you got the bigger, more like luxurious lockers. You could put a person in that.
Mm.
You can see where this is going, right?
Yeah.
So my friend was like, "You're gonna get jumped today by like a lot of people," and I
Mm.
was like, "What?" And they had like doors. There was like the Spanish door, the black door. There was no white door, which was interesting. Okay. Oh yeah. And my friend was like, "Bro, you know, you better watch out." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Well, can I get your?" So later on that day, I asked my friend for her locker combination because she had one of those big lockers.
Mhm.
And my dad was very. I used to train. I was a martial artist for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So, oh yeah. And one of my dad's favorite thing is like if you ever get into trouble with like a group of people or a gang, because he knew, you know, gangs and shit like that. You get used to that shit when you're in New York.
Mhm.
Um, he was like, if that ever happens to you, he's like, take out the leader.
Wow.
So my friend told me she was like, cause she heard all about the shit, right? She's like, you're not gonna be able to get out of the school, and I was like, don't worry about it. I'm like, I'll get out. So I had a plan. I had a fucking wise ass. I'm telling you, they should have known this was a bad idea because the first day of homeroom, I punched somebody in the face for pulling my hair. The very first day, I got up and clocked a bitch. Fuck that, right? So, so this dumb girl, I knew she was like was leading the whole fucking thing. So what I did was I antagonized her. I made her chase me all the way to the top to where my friend's locker was. And I
Oh.
had that door open. So she didn't think it was my locker because I'm a freshman. Why would I have a fucking locker on the third floor? It's ridiculous. Right? And when she came close to me, I did like a side kick to her chest and kicked her into the locker and locked it.
Nice.
Went out the back end. I
Took
was
out
out
the
the door. They
leader.
were still waiting for me at the doors. I'm like, as I'm walking away, like looking at these people, like, you dumb motherfucker. Like I had my hoodie up. Of course,
Nice.
the janitor was cleaning the school and heard her screaming, and I got in trouble.
Thus,
Needless to say,
getting
I
kicked out
wasn't
of
allowed
school.
back in. And then my parents were like, "You're going to a Catholic school." I went to a Catholic school, not in a good neighborhood, naturally.
Mm,
I
mm.
got into a big fucking fight there, and I was actually protecting my friend, which now was a senior, okay, because she was dating this guy, and this guy was cheating on her with some other girl, and the girl was like pissed off, took it out on me because she wasn't going to take it out on my friend because my friend would have beat her to oblivion. So she took it out on me. But then I was like, you know, all I feel is like a kick to my back, like as we're walking up the stairs to go to like the classroom. And I was like, did you just like hit me in the back? I'm like, are you fucking serious? Yeah, down the stairs. I got kicked out of there.
You're running out
Then
of
I went
places to go.
no, the last place was an all girls Catholic school.
Oh.
Dude, I got in so much trouble. And I pulled a knife on a senior because she was like, you're sitting at the senior's lunch table. I'm like, what the fuck is up with all this horse shit? What is with the senior? I'm like, I'm telling you, man, I don't have a good reputation. I don't mind getting kicked out of here too. And then they had a big talk with me. They were like, all right, one more time and you're going to boarding school. And I was like, okay, I won't do this then. I want to graduate.
Oh my god! See, that's a biopic that needs to happen. The early days of Tina Krause, like that. Have you wrote memoirs? Have you done that?
No.
Oh my gosh, that is a movie that I want to see right there. And there's so many people that
I should like.
You should. There needs to be that. You need to write that and then direct it. Cast like someone that's like the badass version of you, like as in your youth, and that would be.
It was funny because I never walked around like yo. I was very quiet. Like that's the funny part. I was quiet, but when you said something stupid, I was a fucking loudmouth. I didn't give a shit. I was like, oh fuck you, man. Like
awesome. So what did you so growing up, what did you want to do? Like, did you have thoughts of like profession growing up?
Oh yeah. I wanted to be a computer programmer, swear to God.
Oh wow. That's a far cry from Wave and everything else. Yeah. Okay.
You know what I didn't want to be? I did not want to be an actress.
Wow.
In fact, I even said it. I will never act because I don't ever want to memorize lines. Ever. Never. Swear to God.
Okay, so bringing us to the next question. So how does it end up being? Like, what's the first opportunity? Was it modeling or was it acting? Where's the first opportunity to do something in the entertainment business?
Okay, so I was modeling for a while, like a really long time. And actually, the first person I ever modeled for just recently got in touch with me. I hadn't spoken to this guy I hadn't spoken to him in 30 something years. Yeah, 30 something years. I have not spoken to this guy. Or even more than that. Yeah, close to 40. Jeez, God. Close to 40. Let's just say 37, okay? 37 years. I'm going to be modeling for him in the near future again. How funny is that? And that person, Mike James, I've modeled for 22, 23 years now straight. Every year.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where did this? So was there? A lot of people have a story about a first person who launched them. Was that who launched you into the video world of like all of the EI cinemas and waves? Was there a person who discovered you?
So my first, like, I want to say one of my first movies, believe it or not, was for HBO. Oh. It was a movie called Montana. I played alongside Stanley Tucci.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
And that's a very funny story.
Yes, please share.
Okay, so I was supposed to just I was with an agency. I can't even remember the agency, but the agency sucked. They never put me in anything really good, and this was only because they ran out of people to put in the thing in the movie. So it was literally a walk-on. That's all it was. It wasn't, like an extra. That's it. I don't know exactly what happened to the person who was supposed to play this part that I got, but they didn't I don't know, something happened. They didn't like the person, whatever. Maybe it was the look or I don't know. In any case, the director had sent somebody over and said, well, I like her look and I think she would be good for it, but it's a nude scene. Okay. So remember, it's HBO. It's my first real being in a movie, right? So I had before, and I was only supposed to be a walk-on, so whatever, who cares, right?
Yeah.
But I was excited that I was going to be on HBO because my family watched HBO. All the neighbors did. This is back in the day. HBO used to have these pamphlets that you can look through and find the movies.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like a TV guide.
I
Okay, it was
remember.
that old. That's how long ago it was. A fucking HBO TV guide. Hello. So I told everybody, like my parents and everything, when it was going to be on and da 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 da. But when I got there, of course, I didn't know anything about it being a nude scene. When I got there and got a bigger part, they were like, "Do you mind, doing a nude? You're not going to do anything in it. You're just walking across like a velvet rug, and I play an angel." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like on HBO. I don't give a shit. But it was very nerve wracking. It was I was like, "Oh shit," Well, being as nervous as I was, I forgot to tell my parents.
Ooh.
And they told all their friends.
Oh. Oh man. So yeah. That so were you actually with them when they watched it?
No. Thank God. God, I would not. That would be a moment. That would be a worse moment than the day that my mom had to pick me up and drive me to the airport and was quiet in the ride home. And she was like, because I was going to Florida to do another movie. She was like, we watched the HBO. I was like, oh, and totally slipped my mind. She goes, the next time you're going to do a scene and it's in the nude, can you please let us know so we don't tell all of our friends? I was like,
oh my gosh. That had to be the water cooler.
And then she goes, in fact, you better never ever do another nude scene in your whole life.
Okay, you're piggybacking onto my questions perfectly. So in your career, whether as a model or as an actress, you don't seem to have inhibitions about anything. Just like you didn't about punching a girl in the face in high school.
No, okay. It's all the same.
So is that's just ingrained in Tina Krause? How like whether it's nudity or kink, whatever it is, you're just like, I'm game. Like is that just...
I mean, I have my limits, of course,
but
yeah. If I don't see anything wrong with it, I don't give a fuck, whatever. It's like that. I don't care.
That's awesome. But I mean, again, it allows so many people are in their head about things. Like I've been in casting for years, even before I was a filmmaker, and I would see people in different casting rooms be up for parts, but there was like implied nudity or partial, and they're just like, oh, my boyfriend wouldn't approve. Like it would just, and they would lose opportunities because we're on HBO, on Cinemax, or different things, just because they were in their head. And I'm like these are career opportunities that you don't know what's going to spawn into somebody seeing you on HBO and then maybe being interested in you for another show that has nothing to do with being nude or implied nudity or anything. So
I'm pretty sure my boyfriend wouldn't or didn't approve. I don't approve of some of the shit he does. So hey, right?
There you go.
Or did or was no more.
So
I've had people break up with me for shit like that, and I just said, okay, well,
bye. So all of the things you've done throughout your career. Now I'm going to specify video. Modeling obviously is totally separate. What give me a couple projects that stick out to you, like from a film standpoint.
I Am Vengeance. That was the one in Florida. That was a pretty interesting run.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it was pretty good. Rich, am I saying this right? Rich Ananski, I think is what it was. A crazy movie. Like I had my limbs chopped off and all kinds of crazy shit. I played this crazy hippie chick who's also a serial killer.
Okay.
You had a picture up with I had the braids on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I killed people. I got arrested. Well, yes, I didn't go to the cop station, and I didn't do anything. This is the first time I got arrested for not doing anything.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what happened. It's really fucking crazy. All right. So it was in Florida. Okay. It was fucking summertime. It was in July. It was so hot. It was so hot. So anyway, it was me and the special effects guy, right? And I was covered in blood and the bugs started coming out. Rich is like, let me drive some people home. Okay. Because I was staying at Rich's place, right? So he was like, let me drive the rest of the actors home. Just stay here with, all the rest of the other shit that we had. But he took most of the equipment, right? And he's like, I will come back and pick you up. Don't, he's like, I promise I'll pick you up. Don't worry about it. I said, okay. So we're sitting in this place. It was private property, but he had a permit for it. But he never left the permit with us. Okay. In the barn, all right. I've never seen giant flying cockroaches in my life like this. We're in the barn to keep out of the sun, okay?
Yeah.
I've got Caro syrup all over me. We're trying to take the jugs of water and pour it on me so I could get all the shit off of me, at least the gooey shit, because I'm going to get attacked by every flying insect on the planet. Okay. So now, and it was supposed to take place in the 60s, so I had the big eyelashes, whatever, right? The fucking daisy in my hair, really weird. I had polyester bell-bottom pants.
You're a flower child.
Oh God! All right, I was like one of the Manson crew or some shit. Like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had just did a kill scene, so I'm covered in blood, whatever, right? I'm in the barn and I just see the special effects guy and his eyes are like, and I'm like, what's the matter? What are you doing? Why are you looking like that? Right? And he's like, don't move. And I'm just like, don't move. He's like, don't move. Don't, Tina, please don't. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what's up? And then I just I can hear like something weird, like a buzz, like a low humming buzz kind of a thing. I'm like, what the fuck? Right? And I looked down and I could see like the dirt starting to do this. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? We apparently were on like a hive of these fucking things, okay? They were big. They were like fucking that. They were like, you see that? Imagine that flying at you, okay? I don't like cockroaches to begin with. And living in New York, man, when I was young, I was traumatized by one of them because we used to keep the cereal on the bottom shelf. And I opened it and like just hundreds of them came out. And I remember jumping on a table screaming for my mom. Yeah. So not a fan.
No.
Not a fan.
Oh my God.
Nope. So when these things came out, I was like, oh my fucking word, what is this? Right?
Back out to the sun.
You got it. I ran out. I was like, I will roast. I don't give a shit. Right? So I ran out there and I'm like pouring water on me, I'm like, oh my God, if these things come out and fly on me, I'm gonna have a heart attack, shit like that. I really will. It's terrible.
Wow.
That's the one thing I'm scared of is fucking flying cockroaches. Nope. We'll have to stare down. I'm like,
you answered my other question. You see, you're already getting ahead. I was like, does Tina Krause have any fears? Or there you go.
There you go.
Flying cockroaches.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here I am.
And that wasn't even part of the movie.
No. And all of a sudden I hear, ew. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is this, right? So the cop comes and he's like, ma'am. He's like, ma'am. He's like, that's private property. You're trespassing. And I'm like, no, we're shooting. And by the way, I had a knife in my hand because I had the knife, which wasn't a prop.
Are you also nude and still bloody?
No, I'm bloody. But I'm in polyester pants in fucking Florida and a long sleeve shirt. Yeah, okay.
But you're
nobody's doing that in the summer, right? With fucking blood all over me.
Wow.
So he sees a knife and he's like, drop the weapon. And I'm like, and I drop it. I put my hands up. I didn't know what to do. Right. So he comes in and he starts asking me all these questions. And I was like, we're shooting a film here. And he's like, you're shooting a film here. Mind you, no cameras are there because he took that.
No evidence. Just the bloody knife. Oh my God. You must do memoirs. You must.
Then he was like, okay, what's the director's name? And I told him, and he's like, well, where does he live? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I'm like, I've only been there once. I don't have his address. But he's like, you don't have it. He's like, what about his phone number? I'm like, I didn't memorize it. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, do you have anything to prove? I'm like, no. So he goes, hang on a second. And he gets on his like little fucking whatever, the CB, whatever talking things. And he's like, all right, ma'am, I'm going to have to read you your rights. I'm like, what? Right? He had me up against, he's like, I'm going to have to read your rights. You go down to the precinct and you can explain it to them. I'm like, what? Now I'm like, how am I going to get a hold of Rich? Because I don't have his fucking phone number. I'm going to be locked up in fucking Florida. I'm like, oh my God. Right. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, he's like, I understand. And he's talking. He's like, as he's saying this, he's talking to one of the guys and he's like, we got a live one here. Like, I know what that means, and I'm not fucking crazy. I'm telling you, we're shooting up. You'll see. I'm like, the director's gonna come back and pick me up. He's like, He's doing one of those. He puts my head, you know, they push your head down and push you in the back seat, and I'm like, holy shit. Then I see the pickup truck comes, and I'm like, that's Rich. That's a director. I'm like, stop. I'm like, stop him. I can't. My hands are fucking handcuffed. I'm like, stop him, stop, right? And so then the cop thing goes on, and he's like, sir, you're trespassing. And Rich comes out, and he's like, no, I'm coming here to pick up my actress. And he shows him the permits and everything like that and the equipment. And then the guy looks at me, and he looks in the back, and I'm looking at him like, you fucking motherfucker. I'm like, I told you.
Oh my God, like a couple minutes before, then you would have been off, stuck in Florida in a jail.
Oh my God. I don't even know what I would have done because I didn't have anybody's number. Yeah. I didn't have anything on me. I was like, are they going to fucking find me? Like.
Oh my gosh. This is all not even part of like the filming process. That's amazing. That is amazing. All right. So you have to have another one of these because it's you. So like, give me another story where you ended up like in some type of crazy situation on a film set.
Okay, my film. This was good. My film. All right. So I'm shooting Limbo, and I lived in an abandoned tobacco factory. That's the one. All right. So we're shooting, and I had my special effects guy. The night before, we did this scene where a girl simulates Jesus Christ, and she's got the loin wrap on and stuff, and her hands are up like this. But these hands come out of the wall, and they rip out her stomach. Okay, and all the entrails are falling on the floor, and the blood and everything like that, right? All right, it's kind of bloody. So I had asked so it was really late. It must have been like 4:30 in the morning when we finished. Okay, and to wrap everybody out, I had a lot of people on set, so I was like, listen, I was like, Sean, if you could do me a favor, I'm like, can you clean this up, and then I'll get everybody out the door, and whatever, right? Send them home. We got to shoot tomorrow, so I want to get everybody. We'll have a late start because it's really early in the morning, right? So he was like, okay, no problem, right? I should have known, because he finished it quite fast, and I was like, that's cool. You got everything wrapped up and done. He's like, oh yeah, I cleaned it all up. I was like, all right, great. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, excellent. I'm like, I don't know how you did it so fast, but I'm not going to question it. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Right? Okay. The next day, none of my actors show up.
Ooh.
And I'm like, and this is before cell phone, so it wasn't like I can call somebody on a cell phone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like, everybody's late. Like everyone. I find that hard to believe. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I get a knock on my door, right? And it's the cops. And they're running and they're asking me questions. They're like, did you see anything crazy last night? Where were you last night? And I didn't want to tell them that we were filming because I didn't have permits.
Ooh.
So I just said I was doing artwork in my loft.
Guerrilla filmmaking.
101.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had told them that I was doing artwork in my loft, and I had asked why, and the cop said, well, somebody was murdered last night in the building, so we're asking questions, and he's like, you can't leave your loft or anything today. We'll let you know when it's safe to leave, but everybody has to stay here and take a statement and all this bullshit, right? So I'm like, oh shit. So now I'm sitting there and I'm like, Sean had stayed over because he's from Missouri, right? So he's staying at my place. So I'm like, oh my God. So Sean, he's like, what happened? And I'm like, dude, somebody got murdered. I was like, holy shit. We were filming last night. That could have been one of us. I'm not thinking, okay? So then I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, oh, it could have been one of my actors. Oh my God. I was like, did you see anybody or anything? He's like, no. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, that's fucked up. I'm like, Jesus, what if it was me trying to find you and I got murdered on my own fucking film? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him and I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. Right? I'm like, we were all over the building for hours. And even after, I would have heard a scream or saw something or something, right? Somebody would have. Definitely. All right. Then I look at Sean and I'm like, hey. I'm like, I got a question. He's like, what? I said, when you cleaned up, how did you clean up the blood? Without skipping a beat. He goes, oh, yeah, that was easy. There was a dumpster there with a mattress in it. I threw the mattress on top of the blood to absorb the blood and threw it back in the dumpster. And then I just threw cardboard over the...
Oh, man.
I'm sure when the forensic team comes in, okay, they're going to be like, this motherfucker ate a lot of sugar.
Seriously. Wow.
And I was like, Sean, I'm like, we're in Jersey City in a really bad neighborhood. People die on the daily. Why would you take a mattress and absorb? It looks like a crime scene. No wonder why. The people who probably took out the dumpster stuff for the garbage and everything were like, oh my God, call the cops. Like, it looks like a fucking murder scene. I'm like, oh.
Yes. Trying to find like a homeless body that's like
yeah.
butchered.
Of course, nothing came of it. You know, I'm sure like they found out and was like, all right, somebody fucking did it, whatever. But at the moment, like, yeah, everybody. And I looked out the window and I saw a line of people and I'm like, oh, there's my actors. They're all lined up on the sidewalk. They can't get in the building.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we are going to have a watch party for Limbo and with you, and we're going to get way more of these stories. So going back a little bit before this, before we get totally off the rails, is like, like, where did the creativity to, I mean, obviously you've modeled and acted, but where did the urge to become a filmmaker, where did that come from?
Okay. So while I was, all right, my dad's a really big reason why I got into horror to begin with, because he used to give me Fangora magazines to read, because he liked gore and shit like that. And we would stay up late watching like all these horrible movies, well, great movies, but they were horrible to other people. Like, I think Videodrome was a big, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, and Videodrome and shit like that. I was always into like these crazy, like weird ass whatever. And that's before the David Lynch, span of things. But yeah, I always liked Cronenberg and stuff like that. I was like into all of this weird shit. So with that, I was like, hey, Dad, one day I'm going to be in Fangora. And he was like, okay, sure. right? And sure enough, I was, which is fucking great. See how you manifest these things?
That's true.
So, what happened was I started doing horror films. I got casted in, to do like these horror films and stuff like that. And then it started going in a direction that I didn't like. It started going into like lesbian films and shit. And I'm just like, oh, come on, what do you got? Like, in the beginning, I was like, whatever, I don't care. It's not my cup of tea, but I get paid to do these fucking dumb movies. I'm fine. Right. But then it got a little too much. And I was just like, okay, that's going a little too far. And this is no longer a horror movie. This is, a lesbian flick. Like, I'm just not into it. I don't want to do it anymore. And then I got mad. And that's where it came up. I said something like, what the fuck happened to horror? I literally said it. I remember having an argument with somebody about it too. I was like, no. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I'm like, I popped a movie in and I was like, what about this is scary? Anything. Give me something. I'm like, and they're like, I was like, no, it's a lesbian tit flick. I'm like, it's not horror. Don't call it that. I'm like, call it a lesbian tit flick. Right? So I'm like, there's not even slasher shit in it anymore. It's like done.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll tell you what. I said, let's take the Pepsi challenge. I'm gonna make a horror film that has absolutely no fucking nudity in it whatsoever. No sex, no nothing. I'm like, everything it'll be real horror, and anything that is like a sex scene, there'll be no nudity in it or nothing that you can say that's, but I'll make you think there is if you really want that. I'm like, but nothing like that. There'll be nothing like that. And I'm like, and you won't even remember that scene's in there. I swear you won't. Right. So they were like, how are you going to do that? I was like, I'm going to write it and I'm going to do it. You'll see. And so I did. And it was really my way. Limbo wasn't made to make money. I never showed it. I had somebody else showed it actually my boyfriend at the time was like, well, let's just play it in the loft and we'll play it during an art show. And that's it. And I was like, I'm fine with that. I was like, I really don't give a shit if anybody likes it or sees it. I just wanted to make a point. I was like, and here's my point. You can make a horror film without TNA. Boom. Doesn't have to be about that. Let's bring it back. They were like, nah, nobody's going to watch it. I was like, well, you know what? You don't have to, but I can do it and I'm gonna. And they were like, what? I was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna. Just to prove a point. You can go up and go fuck yourselves. Right? So I did. It showed for a little bit and then it went quiet. Like it just, and I didn't give a shit because I was like, see, I did it. It's done. Boom. Right? It went quiet for a long time. And then literally in 2019, I had gotten a call from what was it? Bleeding Skull, the AGFA, all those guys. They gave me a call, and Annie gave me a call, and she was like, she's like, are you Tina Krause, the director of Limbo? And I was like, yeah. I was like really confused because I forgot about it. Like I buried that. It's done, And I was like, yeah. She goes, would you mind if it went into the Fantastic Film Fest? And I was like, and I was unfamiliar with that actually at the time, right? So I said yes, of course. Why would I say no? That's stupid. So I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't realize how big that film fest was. I had no fucking clue, right? So it was at the Alamo, the original Alamo in Austin.
Yeah. Wow.
So they flew me out. I was really psyched. I was like, okay. And I was like kind of confused. I was like, because when I got there, all the other people's films were all like, everybody had like somebody who was a name in it. I didn't have anybody that was a name in it.
Just you. All you.
Yeah, mine was shot on video and other shit, like it was like 3 different mediums, this had no rhyme or reason. It was edited. No, seriously, it was edited deck to deck. I had no special effects in it, nothing. It literally was a VHS deck to a VHS deck. That's how he edited with a Fisher Price, swear to God, with a Fisher Price toy thing that helped you
You're on some original El Mariachi, Robert Rodriguez film school stuff. That's awesome. Fisher Price.
I wish I gotta ask these guys if they still have it because I would love to take a picture of it and just like that's what it was edited on. We only shot a small segment of it in film. That's it. But everything else was just like, oh, and by the way, that's the first film I ever shot. And I literally had to ask Gary lent me his camera. I had to ask him where the on and off switch was. I shit you not. I didn't like what I was getting the first day, so I scrapped it. And I was like, just give me the camera. He's like, what? I'm like, he's like, you never shot anything on it. You never shot anything. I'm like, I know. I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Right? And I was like, where's the on and off switch? And he just shook his head and he was like, good luck. I was like, thanks. That's it. I was like, I can't trust anybody to shoot this. So fuck it. I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I learned that camera overnight. I literally learned it overnight. So
there you go. There you go. Props
Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez. Nice. So how did it go?
Yeah.
So how did it go at the Alamo Draft House? Like, how did the screening go?
Oh, okay. So this is good. All right. No, this is a funny story too. So I was 5 miles away from the Alamo Draft House where I was staying in Texas. It was fucking hot as hell. But I decided I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk there from the hotel.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Because I didn't have an Uber account and I still don't. So I was like, I literally did this by a map. This is so stupid. So I was like, I'm going to walk. I'm walking in the heat. So anyway, on my way, I found an abandoned nursery.
Oh yeah, so the production person in you came out, which we'll talk about in a minute. Yes,
I broke into the place, not realizing that behind the place was they were I guess building something or working on some construction or something. So there was cops there. I couldn't see that on the other side. So I broke in, and I'm wandering around trying to get some photos, and I hear, "Hey, did you hear anything in there?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." Right? Now remember, I'm wearing all white. Just letting you know. All right. So I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I can't get arrested right before my screening. That's crazy. So I ducked under something and rolled under and waited for them to pat because they actually looked through with a flashlight. Okay. I come out of this thing. I roll out of it. My hair, I got leaves, dirt on me. I'm covered in dirt and leaves. Okay. And I was like, all right, let me get the fuck out of here and just make it to the screening. Because I had at least 40 minutes before I had to be there, and I was far away, right?
Yeah. Why not a B&E beforehand? Why not?
Because it's me, fucking idiot. So I'm covered in dirt and leaves. I get there. People are looking at me. I will never forget the look on these two girls' faces, okay? I have my tag on me, because I'd gotten there when I first arrived, right? So I got the tag on me. They're looking at me like, what the fuck? I ran into the girls' room, scrubbed off all the dirt, like to get the brown stains off of my white. Yeah, I was like, and rinsing it in the sink. And then I stuck my head in the sink to get the dirt and the leaves out. So I was soaking wet.
Oh boy!
I had to put my hair under the hair dryer, and the girls were looking at me like, "What the fuck?" Right? And I'm just like doing this, like drying it out. So I had like trying to dry the wet stains on the shirt and shit. So I wasn't too terrible. So really, I just looked like a sweaty mess by the time I got to the screening.
Like, did she kill the real Tina Krause? And like,
oh my god! Well, they had no idea who I was. I think they thought I was some homeless chick or something.
Just stole the badge. I know. Just stole the badge.
I don't even know if they saw that because they were just like fixated, like, what the fuck? Right? Okay. Turns out that those two girls were actually at my screening.
Oh, okay.
All right. But I'm getting ready to go, and I get a call saying, hey, would you be okay with your screening being like a half an hour later? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm like, it gives me more time to dry my clothes, right? So I'm like, I'm like, sure, no problem. I'm like, can I ask why? She goes, of course you can. She goes, it's going to affect anybody that you invited. And I was like, well, to be honest with you, I don't know anybody in Austin, Texas. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. So I go, well, why? She goes, because you sold out the theater. We have to give you a double, like an upstairs and a downstairs, like the double theater.
Oh.
Yeah, and that was
Oh.
filled. In fact, I almost didn't get a seat. I was sitting on the far end at the edge by the stairs, the last seat left. I was like, okay. I was like,
Ooh.
this thing got, and I just kept looking, and I was fucking nervous. I was like, how did this happen? How did this little shit film? It's
It was
like, how did
you.
this
It was
thing go
you.
on?
It was
Right?
you. You didn't need no name, no celebrity. You were that's all they needed. So that's awesome.
So yeah, so it was probably one of my best experiences as far as like, being able to see something. I enjoyed that whole film fest. I was like all over the place with that. But yeah, it was insane. And I'm sitting
So,
here in my little wet clothes.
so they did back-to-back screenings or at the same time? Like,
No, it was just the one screening,
oh,
but
okay.
they gave me a instead of having the smaller theater, which I was originally booked
Oh, okay.
for, they
Gotcha.
had to give me like a double deck, like the
Gotcha.
whole
Gotcha.
thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
it's sold out. So I was
That's
like,
dope. That is dope.
whoa.
So how was it
Yeah.
received? Like it was. I mean.
It was great. There was a lot of questions. I could tell some people were like, what is this film? Yeah, I think they were really. Some people were confused, I'm sure, but I definitely got like a shit ton of questions. Yeah, I was just like really like, oh shit, that's a lot of people. I was like,
That
guys,
is
don't
that
don't ask too many questions.
that is awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So needless to say, like a good experience. Another one for the memoirs.
Oh no, it was a great experience. I
Yeah.
I loved it over there. Everybody was so fucking cool, and all the films that they showed were insane. Like I went in to watch some other things and stuff, just to check out the other films that were out there because
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
get the pass,
Of course. Of
right?
course.
Oh,
It's good to
some of the stuff
support.
was amazing. Some of it was so amazing. Um, and the people were great. And then there was like they did some games at the bar where you're online and they do all these crazy. It was just so cool. I want to go back. Got to
Awesome.
make another
Awesome.
film.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. You're
I
on the way
am.
for that. I know. We'll talk about that in a bit. So, all right. So we're at the time of the show where it's, as I mentioned to you, pre-show. I call this speaker silence. So what it is that I'm going to throw a name at you that you've worked with or and you either say a couple things about them, good or bad, or if you stay silent, then that means that you don't have anything good to say about them at all. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to
Oh
start
shit.
off with Mr. Troma himself, Lloyd Kaufman.
Great guy. Little nuts. Totally nuts. Wow. What do okay. God. I don't know, man. Poultry Guys comes to mind. Not that I was on it. I wasn't. Um, but he gave me the film to look, to watch. And I'd never seen, so many things come out of somebody's ass. Like
Okay, all right. Susie Lorraine.
I don't know really because I really haven't gotten a chance to actually like really meet with her or get to know her. It's very brief. So,
Okay.
I mean, hi Susie. I don't know. Nothing bad. I mean, it wasn't enough time to like,
Of
you
course,
know what I
yeah, to
mean?
get to
It
know
was like
somebody.
work and then we worked and that's it. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, you're off here, you're off there. So it was like a
gotcha.
very hi bye. You know,
Awesome. The legendary Mickey Rooney.
love that dude. He is absolutely fucking in. That's a spitfire. That's a spitfire. That guy's a spitfire. And I call him one of the greats because in his presence, you understand greatness. No, I don't even joke about that. As far as an actor, he's got a presence that is insane. I mean, had a presence that's insane. Um, and he will say whatever the fuck is on his mind. I had breakfast with him and his family. Here's what I remember about Mickey Rooney. Give me some sugar, baby. He said that. He said that when I had a room across from his, so they put me up in the same bed and breakfast. This was a beautiful place, okay? And I guess the rest of everybody went to a regular hotel. But I got put up, and his family got put up. And as I'm coming through the door after shooting pool, doing whatever with with the AD and shit, I'm coming back, and I'm coming up the stairs, and I don't know if he saw me or not, but he said it to his wife at the time, right? He and she was a tall lady. Oh my god, he's so short, right? So he was sitting at the edge of the stairs, and I saw their door open. As I'm coming up, she's over here, and he's like, "Give me some sugar, baby." And then they went into the fucking room and closed the door, and that's all. I was like, "What?" I was like, "Did that just happen?" I'm like, "All right."
Wow. That's awesome. Oh, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. All right.
Well,
Well,
good for him.
I have to go back to that at some point, but I'm going to move on. Anthony Edward Curry.
Okay. Try. That's what I'm going to leave that one.
All right. Tiffany Shepis.
Oh, I love her. Okay. She did this silly ass sing along thing when we were working one time, and I forget, it was like after we did some shoot, whatever. And she started doing she took a guitar out and started playing like dumb tunes and like just making fun of shit. I don't know where it came from, and I was just like, "Are you serious?" She was like, "Yeah." So I'm gonna say silly tunes with that one. Silly tunes and a guitar.
Silly tunes and a guitar. All right. Mr. Wave himself, Gary Whiteson.
Oh my god.
You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming.
No, I'm gonna say a word, and then I'm gonna explain it because it's fucking funny. And Gary, you'll see this. You know it's funny, and you know I was gonna bring this up and make fun of you for it. Okay, ready? Yes. All right. We were shooting one day, and he had to say his line, and he must have forgotten this line at least 10 times. 10 times. The line was yes. I swear.
This is what he would put up right now. Right there. He'd be like, straight from his movie. Oh my god. I'm going to make fun of him for that now. That is awesome.
Yes.
That is awesome. Yes. Genevieve Rossi.
Oh, she's cool. I mean, I haven't worked with her that much. I've only like worked with her here and there. We don't really, you know. Yeah, whatever.
David Palmieri.
David Palmieri. David.
I
was like, what? Wait. Yes. Oh, he's cool. I like him. He's a real sweetheart. He's definitely a really cool dude. Nice guy. I never had a problem. I only worked with him the one time, though. Yeah. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have worked with him a little more, but hey, it's no, we're not in the. I go here, they go there. You know what I mean? It's always been like,
absolutely.
Yeah, you get booked for this and that. It's like, oh shit. But no, he was cool. He was really cool.
Another Scream Queen, Debbie Rashan.
Oh, I love Debbie. Debbie should be in comedy, actually. I think she missed her calling. That girl's fucking funny. If you just get a chance to hang out with her, she doesn't even have to say anything. She could look at you one way and make you laugh, dude. She's actually, we hang out a lot, like outside of, all of this. She's going to be in my other movie too, by the way.
Awesome.
She's going to be in the new one I'm doing. Bughouse. She'll be in it.
Oh, very cool.
So,
very cool.
Oh yeah.
Keep
She'll play the crazy waitress.
Awesome. All right, so you got through it with a little bit of there with a couple people, but you got through it.
I'll tell you what, Anthony Curry, I'll give you this, okay? He's a filmmaker, I get it. Da, 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 da. He does his work. It's okay, but we just had a little falling out. That's all. He's an ex, so it's yeah.
Oh, the plot. See, that is
Plot
always.
thick. Did you guys didn't know that?
No, I did not know that. See, it's again. I don't even know that like some celebrities that like people are like, how did you not know about Machine Gun Kelly and this?
Everybody knew this.
I'm just in my own bag. I don't pay attention to who's dating.
No, he's my ex. He was kind of foul, fucking ex, but But no, I mean, I don't have any, I can't. I wouldn't take anything away from him. You know what I mean?
It's so funny that because it's like we're simpatico because it segued into my next question, which was about dating. Because so in this crazy business, like obviously a lot of people date within the business. So do you prefer to stay outside of it or inside of it, or what is your stand?
I don't ever want to date anybody in the business again.
Yeah, because again, a lot of people have that stay stringent to that.
I normally don't. Yeah. I normally don't for the very reason of when it goes bad, it goes bad. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's too much, and I don't I don't want to hate anybody or anything like that. I usually try to stay away from that shit. It's not my, it's not, and I don't, like I said, I don't hate him or anything like that. I don't have any ill feelings for him. I think he's a good filmmaker. I'm not taking anything away from him at all. We just, we had a falling out. That's it. Kay said, hopefully it doesn't stay sour. How's that?
There you go. All right. So tell us a couple of things that Tina likes to do that are outside of this crazy business. Like something that has nothing to do with entertainment. Like hobbies, like something that's totally like jazzercise, whatever it is.
No, I don't. Sweating to the oldies. No, I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
That's awesome. She's there with Richard Simmons, like yes.
Woo, I got Richard Simmons socks. I did.
Yeah.
No. Whatchamacallit? I surf. How's that?
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. I like surfing. I do a lot of rollerblading. I like that too. I do a lot of crazy shit. I like to go. I like to go dancing, and I don't mean like ballroom dancing or anything like that. I go to raves and shit. I get down. I get diggity down.
You have the glow sticks and all that. You have the glow sticks.
Yes.
Oh boy. I'm telling you, this is a whole this biopic is this is happening. I'm gonna tell.
Yeah, I got a full.
Tim, this is happening.
Okay, so I just recently bought this because I was like, this is gonna be fucking cool. The next thing I go to, I'm gonna sweat my ass off, but I'm definitely going. So I bought the I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like it's a glowing stick figure. It's a whole outfit that you put on, and the whole thing looks like a stick figure. It has the glowing things.
Oh, I think I've seen. Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, you've probably seen it on like Facebook. They advertise it and shit like that. Okay, so I bought that because I'm like, this is gonna be cool, right? But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, when I go camping, I like just want to pop through the woods and like go by other people's tents, like coming out of the woods and shit. I hope I don't get shot or.
They think you're like an apparition in the woods, like
it's an alien. Oh my god!
Now get the shotgun.
Yeah.
Actress Tina Krause was found
dead. With a glowing outfit out of a stick figure. We're not sure what happened here.
We're not sure why she thought it was a joke.
Good idea. This is a bad, it's terrible idea.
Oh my god.
I really do. I'm going to go to my roof. I am going to go to my roof like in the summertime. Because all right, so the buildings across from me, because I live in Brooklyn, so now they built all these fucking crazy buildings. But I can see into these people's houses. Like, oh no, people walk around in the nude. I'm like, you do realize I can see you. Put your ding-a-ling away. Like, right? So I'm like, if I could see them, they could see the roof. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go up on the roof and start doing weird shit in this glass.
They just see like lights, and you're just like, they're like, oh my god, there's an alien on the roof dancing, and then they call it into the cops, and the cops are like, sir, please put down the Jack Daniels, sir. If you call us again,
no, really, I'm gonna show
seriously,
you.
seriously, look. And they show them Facebook Live, and the cops like, we'll be over there in a little bit now. It's like, that is amazing.
I'm gonna take a drone and fly it over to see what's going on.
If you ever do that, you need to film that. You need to have somebody.
I am gonna do it. I'm not even joking. I'm fucking doing it this summer.
That is amazing. That is amazing. All right, so yes, that'll go viral like gangbusters. Like seriously. That is amazing.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
So in your back to like your this will be specifically for your acting career. If money was not a factor and you could play any specific role, this is the 2-part question, by the way. You can play any specific role in any type of a film, what would it be?
Ooh.
I hit you with one.
I don't know. I think I would like, I don't know, I just want to test it. Although I played the part sort of, but not really. I think I would like to play an insane patient in a mental institution.
Oh, like a Cuckoo's Nest type, Girl Interrupted type thing? Like, okay.
I didn't see Girl Interrupted, so I can't answer that, but
it
definitely
is.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's the same kind of wheelhouse. Awesome.
Yeah.
So the same question, but if you could direct any film with a blank check, what would that film look like?
I have a film that I want to direct if I had a blank check. It's called The Sundowners. I wrote it, so yeah, it would be the one. It would be the one film I actually want to direct and get it out there. It is about a town of It's about these people that escaped from a mental institution and they grew their own town by kidnapping people. And if you don't comply, it's kind of like 3 strikes you're out. They'll maim you, and if you continue not to comply and fight with them, they'll wind up making you fertilizer. And what happens is, in the daytime, they're completely normal, so they do function like regular people. It's just after 6 o'clock, they flip the bamboozle and they just become fucking insane. And so a prime example is like the guy who runs the motel. He's Daddy Do Right, he's the motel guy. Hey, get your, your shower, you got your soaps, you got everything all right. At nighttime, he's Billy the Kid, and he only rents to people if you have 3. Otherwise, there's no vacancy. Completely crazy.
I dig it. Great title. Yeah. Great synopsis. That's okay. All right. We might have to revisit that at some point, Tim Malikan. That's pretty dope premise. That's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And the catalyst is the beef jerky. The beef jerky is the catalyst throughout the whole movie. Can't tell you why, but I can tell you. There's a story about it when two criminals, they usually rob convenience stores, but and they usually rob them without killing anybody. But this particular time, they wind up killing everybody in the convenience store except for one dude who was hiding in the bathroom, who was taking a shit. I don't know why that's important. That's because when he walks out, he's like, "What the fuck just happened?" Everybody's dead on the floor. Oh yeah, it's really gory. It's really gruesome. So the first 5 pages of it is extremely gory. Nice. And then that's how these 2 guys wind up in this town, because they know once the cops come, they're gonna get executed. There is no going to jail. Like they're just gonna kill him, right? So they have the motorcycles and they wind up going through the woods, figuring the cops can't get through the woods. How are you going to get through an unpaved place with trees and shit? You can't.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no path. But a motorcycle you can, because it's easy to fucking ducking through.
Yeah.
So they go through and they wind up in a town, and one of the bikes breaks. So it's like, oh fuck. So now we're stuck here until until they get the bike fixed. The bike never gets fixed. It's a whole bunch of shit. There's a lot of shit that happens in this town.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like it. Like Tim is clapping off camera, so yes, he approves. We love messed up, gory horror. So that's something.
And the beef jerky, actually, there's a story about the beef jerky. The guy, one of the guys one of the motorcycle guys, right? He has a conversation with his friend because his friend's like, his friend's a vegetarian. He's like, dude, that shit's gonna kill you, blah 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 blah, this, that, and the other. And he's like, why do you eat that shit? And he's like, basically, and it goes into this like heartfelt story about a girl he was gonna marry, but he was so abusive to her, and he was abusive to her because he was a neat freak, and she would clean, but she had a thing for beef jerky and would always leave the wrappers behind. And so he got fed up one day coming home from work, and he fucking was like, started, when I say abusive, not the hitter, but like verbally abusive. And then she got up the next day and she just decided I had enough of this shit and walked out on him. And when she walked out, the beef jerky, the thing that comes in the beef jerky was left on, and he always remembered it. So it was always like a thing. So he had a and that was a nighttime. She was supposed to make dinner, but left half of a beef jerky in that thing, and that's all he had to eat. He was starving, so he ate it, and it just became like embedded in his brain. Yeah.
Oh wow!
But that's not the reason why the beef jerky's bad. But
yeah. We have to read that. All right. So, yeah, please do.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of photos over the last couple of years of like you scouting and cool production design things, like stuff like this here and this one and everything like that. Tell us a little bit about like what this is all about. Like where did these like what is it about a project? I mean, I know you have a background in film production design and things like that. So tell us about what the scouting and all is about.
So my second love outside of surfing is exploring abandoned stuff. I like doing it. I have fun with that. I don't know why, but I love. I've explored probably a dozen abandoned insane asylums, abandoned amusement parks, anything like castles. I found so much shit. And then I decided, well, why not turn that into something that would be cool? So I'm working on a thing called Urban X. So it's going to be a TV show and a book. And so now I'm going to do the history of the places that I've gone to. If I could find the history. Some of the places I can't find the history because like I don't even know what the hell it was, But other places I know the history of them. So I started doing it, and I'm making it like an exploratory thing with the befores, what it used to be when it was functioning, and then what it is now. And then I'm, giving you a little bit of the summary of this and also telling you like why it went abandoned, what happened. I found a concrete city. I found a hat factory. Oh yeah, there's an entire city made of concrete. It was down by the mining area, and it was exclusively built for the miners. It was supposed to be like a resort kind of a place, like you had all the amenities and everything like that. So but it was a bad idea because it was concrete, and what happens in the cold?
Nice.
People froze to death. Clothes wouldn't dry. When it rained and froze over, it was, you couldn't eat it.
Wow.
So
that's in Jersey?
Yeah. No, that was in Connecticut.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Wow. That sounds dope. That's another project that sounds cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
just something else to keep an eye out for. So many irons in the fire.
That'll be coming
So,
out soon.
yeah. So you've done the horror con circuit for years. Like Tim
Oh,
and
yeah.
I have been doing that the last 3 years, just meeting a lot of cool contacts. What does that mean for you? Like going out and meeting the fans that like a lot of the work that you've done.
Oh, I mean, look, if you don't have fans, you don't have a career. So, I mean, think about it. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I like to hear feedback from people. It's nice to see, who's watching your stuff. I get a lot of people. I sign a lot of things and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, and plus it's also the other filmmakers I get to meet too. I haven't seen in a while, so it's kind of like it's almost like a reunion if you want to
Yeah.
put it that way.
That's
And it's fun. And then I get drinks. What about it?
That's awesome.
Martinis.
Tell us
Tina Martini. Hey.
Oh my gosh! Back in the day, I could imagine you and Tiffany and that
Oh
crew.
God.
Like, oh
You
my
don't even
god,
know.
shut down the bar. I was in some of those
Kinda.
bars.
They would kick us out. I know they were
Oh.
kicking me out. They were like, "It's time." I'm like, "Oh, for another martini? Great. No, it's time to go. Close your bill out."
All right, tell us a little bit about Bug House right here. What is this
Right.
this phenomenon that it shall be? What is this?
Okay. So this is the movie that Debbie's going to be in, actually. Okay, and it's the prequel to Sundowners, actually. So these guys go to explore an abandoned building, and some real crazy shit happens.
Nice.
I don't want to tell you too much.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So
But it is shot in a real. It is shot in an actual abandoned insane asylum. It's not a set. I am taking them there.
Nice. All right. So tell us about any upcoming projects. Like what? Obviously, you just mentioned Bug House. You mentioned the Urban Explorer project. Anything else new? Any cons coming up? Tell us about anything that's.
So I'm also I'm working on a short called Picture Box. We're going to be finished with it, not this weekend, but the following weekend. Okay, provided I don't have any extra shit that I have to shoot, but I'm planning on finishing it then. And basically with that, and it's going to go into a couple of film festivals. Basically what it's about this camera. It's a really old camera, okay? And when you look through it and you snap a picture or anything like that, or try to snap a picture, it takes your soul. So what you see through the camera is how it's going to kill you and trap your soul. So this girl has a partner, and she basically steals like rare objects and sells it to this buyer for like enormous amounts of money. That's what she does for a living. And she finds this oddity shop, and she finds this camera that's like priceless. It's a priceless camera because it's got photos of like Hitler and William Shakespeare and shit like that in it. Okay. And it's like how can a cat, because that cameras weren't even, like how, you know what I mean? So it takes pictures of things in time and whatever. So she steals it. Okay. And she's warned because it's behind a glass thing and everything like that. Like, don't touch it, don't go near it. It's very dangerous, but it's a priceless piece and blah, 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 blah. So she steals it to sell it to this buyer. But in her curiosity, she decides to look through it.
Yeah.
And there you have it. And that's the one that's going to have stop animation in it.
Oh, okay. Awesome. We'll keep an eye out for that. That's cool. Anything else? Any conventions? Any other? No, you have the other projects you mentioned that you're in different.
Just right now, outside of going and doing the movie out in Ohio, I'm also probably. I know my movie Limbo is going to be screening in Japan, but I don't know exactly when yet. So I don't have the dates for that yet. I'm just working on all this stuff. I think it's a lot already. Like the two projects I'm directing. I think I'm doing something with you too, aren't I?
Hey, you have to let me know. You gotta let me know.
No, you gotta let me know. You're telling me. You asked me to be in the project.
No, I'm waiting to hear if it's a yes or not. So.
Oh, it is a yes. I thought I said yes
No,
to
you
you.
didn't. No, you did
I
not.
did it?
No.
Oh, yes.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. That's news right here on Sub 25
Hi.
Tina Krause is going to be in ill. That's awesome.
There
That's
you
great.
go. Oh,
There
I
you
thought I
go.
said yes to you. Oh, I'm like, woo, I got a
I
lot of
was
shit
like,
going on.
it's like
I
she
assume.
must not like it. So I was like, I'm
No,
not going to bring that
I
up. So,
no.
that's awesome.
I could have sworn I said yes to you. Oh, I forgot to
That's,
answer it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
you are directing multiple things, and you got a show, and you got Japan and everything. So hey, total forgiveness there. Total forgiveness
I'm
there.
sorry.
So it's all good. It's all so. But you did mention quick. You have the Buckwalter film, right? Is that Side Effects May
Yes.
Vary? Is that
Yep.
the one? Okay. And
Yeah.
and I know like Tim and I we talked about this prior to the show. That's James L. Edwards and Drew Fortier and Sasha Graham and great crew out there of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. So my final question for you, love, is this: is if a young girl, blonde, brunette, redhead, whatever, came up to you, teenage girl, and she wanted to get into this crazy business, and she'd watched your stuff, she'd watched Shepis, and she'd watched Debbie Rashawn and all these other Scream Queens, and she wanted tips on or advice on what path to go down or what to do. What type of advice would you give that young lady?
Well, first thing I would ask her is, what exactly do you want to do? I mean, do you want to do horror? Do you want to do, what exactly do you want to do in the film industry? Because it's not always going to be acting. Some people just want to be behind the scenes doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I would say if you were going to act, keep at it. Don't let anybody try to sway you from something or change your mind on stuff, because people will do that. Okay, there's no harm in talking to people you look up to, and by that I mean family members, because some people could be dicey,
Yeah.
And I would say, you got questions, ask them. Don't be afraid to ask them. Okay, and you got to trust your own instincts on things, and don't ever do anything you don't want to do. I don't care what they say, because nobody can make you promises. Most promises are bullshit. Okay, if you want to do something, do it. If you don't do what you don't want to do. You'll fucking regret it. Honestly, you will. Don't let anybody tell you either that you're gonna never work in this industry again, because that's also a load of shit. But if you want to do something and you're afraid, I would say take a chance. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody starts somewhere. Okay, you're not going to come out, out of the gates, winning the first prize. If you do, you're lucky. That's wonderful. But if you don't, learn from the things that you make the mistakes at. Not everybody's a great actress at the beginning, and that's to be expected. So don't be afraid to fall.
That's great advice. That's great advice. Bonus question, harkening back to the beginning of this interview. Did your folks ever watch more of your work as you went on? Because obviously you've done whatever you wanted to do in your career, and you did
actually.
So
Yeah.
how did that end up? How did that story end with that? I'd love that.
So you remember I don't do nudity anymore, right? Yeah, remember that last thing? Okay. So I had finished a film with Devin Michaelis, okay. Salvation by Blood.
Okay.
I have a very fucked up scene. I play a serial killer. But I rape a kid.
Ooh.
An 18-year-old boy. Oh. Yeah, and kill him. Okay. Oh yeah. It's bad. It's balls to the walls bad. And I mean, no, it's a great, the movie's great, and the scene is just what the fuck? Yeah, it's one of those scenes. Wow. You're just oh shit. And I invited my parents to the movie screening in Manhattan. And this is years later, right? I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want. But then I got really nervous, and Devin's you were so good in it. He's what are you nervous about? I was a long time ago, my parents told me never to do it. And he's looking at me like, you're like a fucking adult. Like, I don't think, I was like, no, I got it. I was like, just when we get there, I got to talk to my parents before they go downstairs and they come into the screening. So as soon as they show up, right, and they're like, wow, you're on the big screen now, da da da. I stop my parents and I go, Mom, Dad, before you go in, I have to listen. I'm like, there's some scenes in there that are really, really, they're really fucked up. Right? I don't know what to tell them, right? I was like, so before you enter, here's what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to leave now and not ask me shit. All right. Or you're allowed to come in and you can walk out if you want in the middle of the scene, or you could stay and watch it. But what you're not allowed to do is yell at me this time. I'm like, so I'm warning you. So if you want to leave right now, I'm like, I am perfectly fine with that. Right? So they were like, no, we'll stay, right? Okay, the end of the movie. The end of the movie. My dad doesn't say anything. He was like, oh, whatever. Right? My mom is like, and I was like, oh no, right? I told her not to do this, right? And she goes, you're a very good actress. That's all I have to say. And walked away to the after party.
Nice. Nice.
So yes, they did see you.
Nice. That is a good cap or two to my question. That's awesome. Tina, where can people that are watching this, where can they find you on social media?
Okay, so Space Monkey 7777. That's going to be my Instagram. Tina Krause 1420. That's the thing for Facebook. I know they have a little number after that, right? You can find me also on Art Lords. That's on Instagram, your Facebook. You'll see that up there a lot. You can find me on Tina Krause's Bug House. That's also Facebook. Okay. I think that's quite a bit of stuff.
There it is. Well, thank you so much for an amazing interview. This was fun. Like, it's cool to catch up, get to know a little bit more about you, your hijinks, and your whole career. Like I said, we do have to definitely send me that Sundowner script because I'd love to read it.
Yeah, definitely.
That would
I'm sorry I didn't say. I thought I said yes to ill, but yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome. That's great news. You heard it here first. And good luck with everything you're doing. We can't wait to see more of a Bug House and your Urban X project. Like this is all fun stuff, and this is the sky's the limit for you. I know, and hope you enjoyed this interview. And like I said, I'm watching even Tim like in the green room, and he's like giving thumbs up and everything like that. So, Tim, do you have any questions for Tina before she signs off?
No, but I enjoyed every second of this. I was,
he was down there,
clapping along the whole time. It was very awesome. And so, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm glad Brandon invited you on, and I'm glad you accepted, and glad we finally got this interview done. And very awesome. Love it.
We will definitely stay in touch. And like I said, we'd love to read that Sundowner script. And I look forward to working with you, working on Ill with you. And I'll send you some stuff soon. And all right. Awesome. So again, thank you so much for your time tonight. You enjoy the rest of your night, everybody. Great.
I will. You too.
Yeah. Awesome.